guys started realizing while you were there your story. Like the word started getting around the green room, and it was one of those things where like, what? He just got out 3 weeks ago, wrongfully accused for 30 years, and here he is having a good time. It was a crazy experience to like be sharing the green room with you, because you could see everybody, like you became like the celebrity of the green room. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody wanted to hear the story, everybody wanted to talk to you, everybody was blown away by it, and by the grace that you displayed. Like the fact that you could be wrongfully accused, spend 30 years of your young life in a cage, and then come out and just be this wonderful, fun guy, having a good time. Everyone's laughing, having conversations. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. I'm standing next to him last night, worried most of the night because, we had got on a plane and that was his first time flying in over 30 years. There was a lot of stimulation, and, I could tell you that I'm still in shock, even sitting here now, that we're sitting next to each other, because I spent the last several years visiting him at Sing Sing, which is, not a great place, Sing Sing prison in New York. But I don't want to throw cold water on anything, but, there's a lot of steeling yourself for the moment last night going on that people didn't see.
From you?
I think for Bruce. I mean, there was one point where we were sitting in the balcony watching Attell. And by the way, congratulations on that amazing club.
Thank you.
An amazing. The Comedy Mothership is really a dream for the comedians. Love it. The crowd was amazing. It was just so awesome to see. So congrats on that.
Thank you very much. How funny is Dave Attell?
He's
a master.
My side hurts.
He's a master.
But we were sitting there, and some other folks came in, and at some point, Bruce kept looking over his shoulder, and I realized that he was uncomfortable, and he switched seats very quickly so that he would be side to side, shoulder to shoulder with them. I think I know why you did it.
Yeah.
Why did you do it?
Well, I think in prison you become accustomed to not wanting people behind you, right? And then I got this scar in prison from behind, so you're always conscious of what's behind you.
Of course.
Yeah.
No one goes through that experience unscathed, right? You come out with these idiosyncrasies or these quirks these defense mechanisms that you develop while you're incarcerated. You're in an abnormal environment for decades. It's gonna have an effect on you psychologically.
How old were you when they put you in?
I was 23, just turning 24.
And tell us the whole story. What happened?
Well, I was arrested back in 1994 for homicide. I think that everyone knew that I didn't do this case at all. Everyone knew I didn't commit the crime. I mean, I literally woke up that afternoon because my girlfriend wanted to change her niece's costume. And she also had a taste for chocolate cake. So just imagine waking up to change a costume for Halloween, a child's costume, and then disappearing for the next 29 years of your life, right? And being charged with a homicide while the prosecutor involved in your conviction has a history of misconduct. And it wasn't until some 27, 26 years later that he finally gets arrested and gets convicted. Former Queens prosecutor John Scarpa. He gets convicted for the very same misconduct that I've been telling them about, that he's been doing for decades.
So he would just find someone, pin it on them.
Yeah, he would concoct a story, a theory, as he did in my situation.
And he did this just to convict someone.
Yeah.
Anyone.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that he was targeting you. He just decided it was you.
Anybody that he felt was involved in a criminal lifestyle or in drug dealing, it's easier to get someone that has a history of being involved in the streets to put a case on them than it is that someone that doesn't. So, once they find out that you have a record, it's easy to say, all right, well, he did this homicide.
What kind of a record did you have at the time?
I had a drug sale prior to that. So that's enough for him to say, okay, he's a part of a drug crew, and let's arrest him and lock him up.
This particular prosecutor, his thing was bribery. He would pay off witnesses, and he ended up not only getting convicted but went to federal prison for it. He was in some of the worst penitentiaries in New York, from Attica to...
I was in Clinton, Great Meadows, Sing Sing, all maximum securities, all maximum security prisons, way upstate in some towns that are essentially, a lot of racism is pervasive in those towns, and the prison is it's the only economic development in that town. So you got brother, cousins, aunts, and uncles working in the same prison. So you get into an incident with one officer, you got a problem with the entire system. And that's just how it is when you go deeper upstate. Borderline Canada, Clinton, Dannemora, and Great Meadows, and different prisons like that. So,
and the economy of the area depends upon
the prison, because there's really nothing there but snow during the wintertime and farming. So there's nothing else there. So the prison is the driving force behind the economy. So everyone's there, right? Siblings. So nepotism is prevalent in these prisons. And one of the things that you encounter is that, these prisons, it's not just cold in those areas. Prison is a cold environment, and it's up to you to create your own heat. It's a dark environment, and somehow you got to find that light, that light within yourself in order to travel, in order to do something with your life more meaningful. You know what I mean? And it's difficult. It's not easy. You watch guys, guys you talk to today, and tomorrow they're swinging from the light. They're dead, right? Yesterday they were fine. The next morning you wake up, they've hung themselves. And these are the things that you encounter day in and day out, and you still have to maintain a sense of humanity, right? You could either do two things. You could become bitter, or you could become better.